The idea that we are given in manifestation spaces, personal development, that you have to discipline your thoughts, right? You have to discipline your thoughts. You have to control your feelings to think positive. You have to take action. All three of these advices are completely wrong. They don't work. What we want to do today is to build together the most important business tool that you have. And to some extent, we're using it really well. But what I want to do today is to make it really systematic and strategic and really perfected and hand it to you. We're going to do this together where you start to use it and you start to see the magic and the miracles and the crazy things that happen. And not only that, I want to share with you how I have been using this in the last few weeks and what it has done. Like, it has been crazy, mind-blowing, if not less, or if not more. The idea, the question that we are given in manifestation spaces, personal development, that you have to discipline your thoughts, right? You have to discipline your thoughts. You have to control your feelings to think positive. You have to take action. All three of these advices are completely wrong. They don't work. You have to discipline your thoughts. Personally, I am very against this word discipline, because if until you reprogram discipline in your identity, discipline is completely against how our nervous system works. What in the context of where people use discipline is, I am not this person. I'm not programmed to be this, but I'm disciplining myself. What people start doing is they start going to gym, they start waking up at a certain time, or they're disciplining with how much they work or what they do or with their thinking. And what starts to happen with this discipline is eventually it stops. Because when you are trying to force yourself to be disciplined and you're not patterned and programmed and coded that way, you are going against a program. And doing that might work for a day or two, but it's like, when you're doing push-ups. A person can do 100 push-ups, 1,000 push-ups. After a certain number, their stamina would go off, even if that is 1,000, which I doubt, right? Similarly, we have a stamina when we go against our nervous system, and that is biological. After certain number, after certain days, after certain lapses, it's gonna go. And a lot of times when people say, oh, you're lazy. No, it's nothing to do with being lazy. You're just fighting against your own program. The thing that is really powerful here is, how can we think empowered thoughts, empowered feelings, feel empowered feelings, and take really powerful actions, big moves, path of least resistance on autopilot. And that comes with changing our self-image, how we see ourselves. Now, when it comes to changing our self-image, there is a really powerful way to do this, because it's not just you visualize and that thing happens. It's not just that I feel this, and if I keep feeling it, it's going to happen. There are two ingredients that you want, which will make up this business tool, which will help you recode an identity 100 times faster. And one of that tool is very, very renowned and everybody talks about it. And the other one, most people forget. And when you forget the second one, it doesn't work. It falls flat. Let me explain what I'm saying. The first one is using your imagination, but second one is focus. And this is the second one I really want to highlight today. If you're using your imagination, you imagine something, but you do not have the mental muscle to stay there. You keep coming back, you get distracted, or you imagine and then it just fades away. You cannot hold the vision. Then imagination is not going to work properly. What you need within imagination is the ability to focus. Now, I have been practicing as a part of my identity for 2026. I have been practicing the candle exercise every day. And sometimes I do it with the candle. Sometimes I do it literally in my car. I just look at something. I say, I'm focusing and thinking about this thing. And this is the thing I'm thinking about. And every time I do that, what I start to notice is the detail. in that thing, right? That thing has always been in the car. The candle I use has been there for such a long time, right? It's quite cute. It's really nice color, but it has been there the whole time. When I start to focus on it for 15 minutes, half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, I start to see so much detail. I can see the flame of the candle, and there is a reflection of the flame, and they are moving along each other. They're literally going like this. I can see that. I can see the dimensions of the candle. I can see the color. I can see what the shape is. I can see how the candle has these beautiful waves, and it has these lines, and how beautiful the glass is and what's written on it. And actually the font is so cute, and the way P is written on it. And those things have always existed. The reason I couldn't see it because I wasn't focused. What I've realized is, and this is really important because we know imagination, but when you start to focus in the detail, you bring it to life. You start to go to the mastery. You start to make it alive for yourself, right? The biggest problem with a lot of people is they can imagine very vividly, they can imagine with colors, they can imagine with five senses, but they don't stay there long enough. They do not focus on it long enough to see the details. And when we think of luxury, when we think of abundance, when we think of a masterpiece versus something normal, the thing that makes a difference is detail. When you go to a presidential suite or a hotel which is £2,000 a night or $2,000 a night versus a very basic hotel, what is the difference? You get all the things. It's the detail. When you get yourself a beautiful jewelry or you get that glass or something, what is the thing that counts? It's the detail. It's that the way that thing is, every single part of it. If you want to cater to luxury, if you want to cater to this thing of being the premium and the greatest thing, no matter what you're offering, it's the detail. But the detail is not just in the physical, the detail in the mind. I want to give an example of Beyonce. When Beyonce prepares her concert, she sees and creates everything in her mind first. What heels she's going to wear, how the concert would look like, what will be the colors, what will be the design, what will be the costumes, what will be the finest detail of that costume of other people. Everything has been first created in the imagination. And for that level of detail, the muscle, the higher faculty that we need is focus. Because if we do not see our vision in enough detail, then we are missing the whole thing because it's already here. The way I see this tool, imagination plus focus, is like Napoleon Hill says, it's a workshop of the mind. When you're going in the workshop, you create everything in the detail. If you build a car, but there is no engine, there is no detail, it's not going to work. It's the detail. What I started doing was, and I'm going to share two things that I've started doing really powerfully. I was imagining signing a partnership deal with Microsoft. And I was imagining a lot of detail. What will be the background? I can see that person sitting across. Who will be that person? I did hell of a lot of research on that person who's going to potentially do with us, sign that deal. What will be the background? What kind of room it's going to be? Then I went online and I looked, what kind of locations people sign like huge deals of mergers, partnerships, and all those things. I found those locations. I started to think, okay, what will I be wearing? What will be the clothes? How does it look like? And then the next level detail was, let's start the whole event. The event is started. We just got there. How excited we were to get there. What was on the way? How were we getting there? What were we feeling? What were we talking about? And then getting there, talking to other people, seeing the huge round table, having the conversation. What conversation? What all of those things? And I kept doing this for a few days. And then I was on LinkedIn and I got this nudge, contact this person from Microsoft. I don't know this person. I have no idea who that person is, based in Ireland. Completely not known. He was a sales director, and I reached out, and whatever I felt called to write, I just wrote. It wasn't any strategy or anything planned. I wrote and he said, "Oh my God, I would love to have a conversation. Let's meet on Monday." So the Monday that just passed, we had a call. We told him what we do. We gave all the details and he said, "Oh my God, this is so helpful for us. This is the bottleneck where we are struggling. So this is really good. Send us your proposal, send us your case study, send us the work that you're doing." And then he said that actually I'm the part of wider UK team. So I am based in Ireland, but there's a wider UK team. So I can also start to socialize this with them. And I was just thinking like, oh, and then we said to him, what are the next steps? He said, "I want to introduce you to our clients, Microsoft's clients." And then with AWS, the thing that happened was that they first checked our work. They asked us to do the thing. And this guy was like, "No, it's fine. We'll just introduce you to the clients and let's start the conversation." I was thinking, how come he trusts us so much? How come and the thing is, when you are in so much detail, then you bring that energy in the physical. But the thing that I used to struggle with, I would imagine, and then because it wasn't detailed enough, it wasn't long enough, and long is important, right? And when I would do the physical, I would be back in my patterns, back in the doubt, back in those things, and I wouldn't be coming from that place. This time when we were talking to him, my energy was, "Do you know we are partners?" Of course, I didn't say that. "Do you know we are partners? Do you know that?" And the other example I really want to share, which is really powerful, and I want you to see the detail. The executives that I want to coach, what I do every day, I do a session in my mind, a whole coaching session in my mind, starting from hello to what am I saying to them? What are they saying to me? What is the next thing they said? What did I say? To literally the entire conversation. I did it. And as I kept doing it, I started to feel like it has actually happened. And this is such a weird feeling. It's like I cannot explain, but it so feels like it has actually happened. Like the call we have right now, when I would do it, I would know it has happened, of course. And I had the same feeling about those calls. What they said, what problem came, how I identified the pattern, what they told me, how it was so good, how they had the breakthrough. Every single conversation I did. Of course, it was much faster because they were not pausing and I wasn't pausing, and it was from my imagination. But I did the whole call. What are the next steps? What do they say to me? And this is the workshop where we are creating. I was having this conversation with my one-to-one client in the morning, and I was saying to him, we watch a lot of things. We want to watch the YouTube videos, we want to watch the podcast, we want to listen to this, we want to do this. But when do we actually create? And you create in the workshop. You can study 10 books on manifestation. You can study 10 books on power of your mind. But all of those things are recipes. But when are you cooking? When are you actually, where's the food? Show me the food. Until you cook it, until you go in the workshop and say, you know what? I'm going to create scenarios and I'm going to picture them, and I'm going to picture them in so much detail. I'm going to talk and I'm going to respond, and then the other person will talk and we will have a conversation. I'll be so engrossed. I can see in their eyes. I can see the environment. I can smell it. I can see what they say to me, what I'm saying to them. And you're designing. It's like you're tapping into the thing. You're not even designing. It's already there. You're just tapping into that layer. You're that dimension. And this is where there's such a beautiful story in Think and Grow Rich, where Napoleon Hill shared that he used to do a roundtable conference with Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie in his mind, like all these people in his mind. And he said, every night I would do that, and it started to become so real that I thought I have some mental disability. I'm going crazy. I'm losing my mind. This is too real. This is going to crazy place. And then he stopped doing it because he got too scared. And then after a while, because he was getting so much wisdom, he was getting so many ideas, he was getting so much knowledge. And then he said, I want to do it again. I want to start it again. So after a few months, he started again. And when he started, Thomas Edison said to him, where have you been? In the imagination. And then in physical, 3D physical, he went to Thomas Edison because he was friends with him, he was writing that Think and Grow Rich. He said to Thomas Edison, I want to share with you something about, I do this round table and I talk to you every night. And Thomas Edison said, of course, that's real. That I won't be surprised. These things are real. The key is we are all connected. We are all one. It looks like there's a lot of separation. We are all one. When you are talking to your dream client in your imagination or that person, you are actually, they are within you and you are with, like, you are all one. It's all one frequency, and you tap into that frequency and you can feel it, you can assess it, you can really go there and have that conversation. You exactly know what they're thinking. You can go inside their mind, you tap into that frequency because it's all one. All thoughts exist in all places and at all times. They're all spiritual. Thoughts are spiritual. Thoughts are existing in all places at all time. It's not that I am thinking a thought. You can think my thought. And sometimes we have other people's thought. This is not my thought. Oh, I can feel this person. And sometimes we have negative thoughts. And sometimes we are, when somebody is in the other part of the world and they're thinking something, we know what they're thinking because thought exists simultaneously. When you are doing these things, you're actually talking to that person. And the crazy thing that starts to happen is that you start to get ideas. You start to get, what if I do that? It's like you're building the whole thing in your imagination. And then there are two kinds of imaginations. One is synthetic and one is creative. Synthetic is what you already know. Creative is when God source put the information there. You're like, oh, what if I do that? I have to do this. Oh, I got this idea. Oh, this is great, when your intuition starts talking to you. But these things happen when you use your imagination and when you start to build in the workshop. We spend time visualizing, but the way I would love for you to look at this tool is that this is your creation tool. You create things there. And then you act from that place in the physical, and your actions will be 100 times faster, 100 times better, 100 times more powerful, 100 times more aligned, 100 times path of least resistance. Spending more time there and saying, you know what, this is what I'm building. This is not something I'm just fantasizing, I'm daydreaming. This is where I'm creating the mold. Because if you want to create mold because you don't want any limit, you create the mold in the imagination. If you want to create something from what's already created in the physical, it's limited because the end product is finished. The way I would love for us to now start playing is we have a certain time in our day when we are in the creation phase, and when we get things in our mind in the right order, because your imagination also gives you the order. It clarifies, like, how does it look like? Where am I going? And the other thing, what it does is it reconfigures the physiology of your brain. Currently, you have certain neurons who have fired together and they have wired together. And if that neural pathways are not aligned to where you're going, to the end, you will not think, feel, and act in alignment. There is nothing to be lazy. There's nothing to be guilty. It's just science. It's science. What we want to do is, our job is not to control our thoughts. Our job is not to control our feelings, because we can't. And our job is not to control our actions either. Our job is to rewire. And then this autopilot program will take care of the thinking, take care of the feeling, take care of the action. Rewiring is when you're sitting and when you're creating the picture, when you're normalizing that, when you're creating different scenarios, when you're receiving the DM in your mind, when you're receiving that email, when you're responding to that email, when you're doing that coaching call. Do that coaching call and see what comes up. It might also be that sometimes when you're doing those things, you uncover your block and you say, I'm scared of this. Oh, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I haven't acted on this. Interesting. This is such a powerful tool because in the workshop, it gives you the order to see where the gap is. We are not just taking imagination as dreaming or fantasizing or getting on that frequency. We are taking it as a drawing board. We are starting from that place. One thing I do very religiously now, I spend literally an hour, sometimes 45 minutes every day, and I create in my mind. I just sit there Literally, I sit straight. I don't even do meditation or anything. I just tell myself, what's the scenario we are playing today? What are we playing today? We are playing this scenario where I'm signing the deal. Oh, let's do it. Where am I? And when you open the story, you start with the first scene. You just need to know the next scene. And it keeps coming and it keeps playing and it keeps playing. And you start to get the detail. And then you also practice saying what you would say. Let's say in your imagination, you wanna be a certain kind of speaker, and you would love to be that kind of speaker who speaks like that, who does things like that. You can take that image and live it in your imagination. And what you're actually doing is it's equal to rehearsing in the physical. But the beauty with doing it in imagination is in the physical, it's limited. When you're doing it, maybe you're just doing it from where you have been reprogrammed already. In imagination, there's no end. You can start seeing yourself speaking or doing something in a way that is like, oh my God, that would be so good. I would love that. That puts my soul on fire. But I don't know how to do it. If you can imagine it, if you can see yourself, you are literally rewiring your brain to be like that because you love it. And then you start to become who you really are. The pattern and program that you have right now is not you. And whatever you desire is for yourself is what you really are. You take that, you rehearse in your mind. What I do is, in my script, what I've written is, I love the way Oprah Winfrey is so calm and so poised and so grounded. And she's taking other people's interviews. This person is so deeply grounded. You can feel it. She's completely on the ground and really, really calm and relaxed. I see myself in my mind like that because I do not know how to be like that in the physical yet because the pattern program is not inside me. But what I can do is I can create it in my mind. I can rehearse it in my mind. And then by default, on autopilot, I will become that. Not her, but the best of me. I'm using her as the template. Why do I like her and why does it really resonate with me? Because I'm seeing a reflection of what I have got. Why I haven't got it already? Because I have been patterned and programmed from my childhood in a different way. And what I really see and say, I wish I could be like that. There is no wish. It's who you are. You're seeing a reflection. There are so many things which are so great about other people that we don't like. We're like, not that we say anything bad, we just don't notice because we don't see a reflection of what we haven't got within us. If you like something about somebody, what's the best way? To emulate it, not to copy it, not to be like them, but to activate that greatness of you. You practice in your imagination. You look at the detail. How are they doing it? And you practice. You can practice a specific identity. You can start to create different scenes, different scenarios. What your vision is, you take different scenarios to this part, this angle. Today I'm seeing myself doing this. Let's play the mental picture. I have a vision of doing this. A lot of times what I've seen is as I start doing that, I get so much clarity of how does it exactly look like? How would it actually happen? What would be the series of events that could lead to that? How this whole thing orders. Let's say if somebody wants to design their perfect dream home, what is the best way to do it? Go online and look, or use their imagination first and design it the way that it takes their breath away, and then work from that place, right? The imagination is not just something we are using it just to visualize. It is your business tool to create things first. It is your business tool to put things in order, put your desires in order, give them detail, give them color, give them how it looks like, and start to see the detail, mentally rehearse, normalize those things. And then what happens is when you normalize those things, your brain gets rewired. Then when actually that opportunity shows up, the energy that you emit is like, I have been doing this. It's nothing new. I can do it in my sleep. The other person feels that confidence that, yes, she's really good. She knows what she's talking about, or he knows what he's talking about. It's that confidence. Why? Because for your mind, it's not the first time you're doing it. You have done it so many times. You can do it in your sleep. Our words are only 8%, and our energy, the moment you enter a room, energy is 98%. The moment you start talking, energy is 98%. Words are just 8%. We create in the workshop. We take every single piece. We start to do as if we have done it in real life in that much detail. And the thing that makes this whole thing gel together is the focus. I believe genuinely that the biggest reason a lot of times we struggle or manifestation takes longer is lack of focus. Because we can focus on it, we can stay there, and then before we know it, we're trying to make it happen. Before we know it, we're coming from, I don't have it. Before we know it, we are thinking, oh, this doesn't work. And it's not discipline. Because when you use discipline, everything will fall apart. Because discipline is something that's temporarily. Focus, training your mind, using the candle, using any object. If you have some time, even if you're on your way, as long as you're not driving, using any object and saying, I'm going to think about it and I'm going to look at it. I'm going to train my mind. If you can focus on a task for long enough, give it enough detail. The other thing that I really do is, before I'm doing anything, I visualize how I want this to go. Instead of trying this and that doesn't work, and then trying that and that, so annoying, this is not working. If I'm making a YouTube video, how do I want it to be? How do I want to feel? When I'm creating the video, in what energy do I want to be? I use my imagination now. I wasn't doing it before. And that I have changed so many YouTube approaches. Oh my God. I've tried so many things. And the winning one, by far the best and the best, is go in your imagination, write your script in your imagination. When I say script, I don't write script, I write bullet points. But in my imagination, I go in a really high frequency. I go in a place where, how do I want to feel? And how do I want the person who's watching to feel? And then from that place, I write the script from my imagination. And then I start to feel it. And then when I'm like, oh, I feel full, it's really, I've rewired, it feels really good, let's go and record it. Most of the work is done in the imagination with focus, laser focus. The tool that we want to use it, that everything that you do, first create it in the mind so that you can give your mind the order. How do you want it to turn out? Where do you want it to go? From what energy you're working on? Because it's not about doing so many things. It's about doing things in a certain way. And certain way is you go in that place, you bring that feeling and that vibration, and then you do it. And I've seen this so much. Like, if you're watching somebody's video, if you're reading somebody's post, if you're talking to somebody, if you're looking at anything, or if you're listening to somebody, if somebody's selling something to you, there is so much energetics. What feeling do you get? And as you become more intuitive, you realize, oh my God, when I receive a phone call, I can already feel what the person is feeling. I'm like, I don't feel like talking right now. This is a random night. There's a random person. They call me. I know what they're going to say. Forget it. Somebody else is calling me. I can feel your frequency. Do I feel called to attend? No. You message somebody, they feel your frequency first. Somebody watches anything to do with you, they look at your picture, it's the frequency first. The real work is first really enhancing your energy, because it's that one video, it's that one post, it's that one thing that will be like, oof. It's that one thing. The thing that has really worked for me now is I don't believe in doing too many things. Even in corporate reach out, what they traditionally teach is that you have to send 1,000 messages. I sent 10 messages a week. And last week I had 100% conversion. 100%. 100. Every single one of them replied and we booked a meeting. 100. I just sent 10 of them, but with the right energy. And there is something really powerful that I want to talk about. Whatever you do it with your open heart and say what you really feel. What I've realized is when I was doing anything, even my YouTube or corporate reach out or anything, I am really now aligning to the fact that How do you actually feel? If you like something about somebody, if it's you genuinely like it, say it. Because if you, for instance, if you're saying, okay, I want to say this because I want to be nice, or if I that way that person, I want to speak to that person, it will come across in your energy. With this person that I reached out, I genuinely liked his article, genuinely. It was on mindset for artificial intelligence, and I really liked it. Very much resonates with what I teach. But if I didn't like it and just said it because I want to say it because I want to book a meeting with you, he would have felt it. What if we open our heart and know that what we feel and what comes for us is enough? What if being true with ourselves? If I like this person, I want to go and say it. This doesn't feel right, I don't want to do it. This doesn't align, I don't feel, everybody's telling me this YouTube topic is trending, I don't feel like talking about it. It doesn't light me up. It doesn't make me. What's the most powerful thing that will be so good is what puts you on fire. And especially 2026 year is according to Chinese numerology. And the only reason I really follow this is because it helps me amplify and put my vision on fire. Right? Really amplify the frequency. This year is the year of fire horse in Chinese numerology. And fire horse means bold moves, big decisions, big outcomes, right? January has been more about shedding. For Chinese numerology, it's the snake that is shedding the layers. And February is about that fire horse going in and making big moves, doing the thing, like really putting your soul on fire. Let's really align with that. But the greatest tool that will help you do that is using your imagination. What could be the most excellent vision that you can create? If you're doing this one step, which is so simple, how can you do it in a way that's a masterpiece? How can you bring that energy? It's like, oh my God, I'm writing this post, but this just puts my soul on fire. This is so good. And even if it's a simple post, a person can write with the same post, completely same post, with a different energy, and your post will have more frequency. It will land. This is so powerful. Like, so much is energetics. So much of this is energetics. That's why I genuinely believe 95% is energetics and 5% what you do. Because most of the time, a lot of people are doing the same things. But where it's the masterpiece, like, oh, what you said, oh my God. What you wrote, what your video is, what your message is, or how you position, or how you showed up, or when I saw you, oh my God. Your thyroidian field is communicating with people way before we open our mouth. It communicates straight away within nanoseconds. And we have got this thing called intuition, where people pick it up, but they have no idea what it is. Like, they cannot tell you, but they feel something is off. When I see somebody's post or when I see somebody's profile, I can exactly tell where their identity is. Not because I'm judging anybody, but it's screaming loud. And with some people, it's like they're not doing much. They're not doing that many things. Why is it that it's so good? What are they doing? Wrong question. Who are they being? Which frequency are they coming from? The key is using this workshop to come from your vision. And one of the most beautiful things this workshop of your mind can help you do is, let's say you are currently acting, but your result is not there, right? You can come from that place. How would you do that thing if you had 1 million followers? How would you do that thing if you already had that client? How would you do that thing if you already, and when you use that workshop of the mind to build that and you come from that energy, you are a match. So let's use this tool very, very proactively. This is the most important thing because this amplifies your actions. Doing too many things don't give you that result. And one of the things I say to myself is it the best of me and is it the best of my expression? If it's not, then I want to do less, but I want to make it a masterpiece.